And we're back here at Austin, Texas, Lemon Creek Soccer Complex. Thanks to Visit Austin and Tasmania. This is the 2024 USAFL National Championships. We have our first game from Men's Division 1. It is the hometown team, the five-time defending Men's D1 National Champion Austin Crows against the Quebec Saints here in this Pool A matchup. This is the first game of the day for the Crows in this three-team round-robin pool, while the Saints played earlier today against the New York Magpies, and we are still awaiting a confirmation of the score for that one. But if I had to guess, I would say New York won, but we will hold off on that. Brian Barish alongside Dan Sarbacker. Here we go one more time as the Crows in their familiar tricolors, the blue with the red and the yellow, kicking towards the right of screen, or left of screen, towards Tournament Central. Handball up over the top, and we will tell you we do not have numbers for Austin. You would think they were the home team and they would remember it. We know some of the guys. We'll do our best. As the ball goes down, there is Ben Carpenter-Wanyanwu. We know him, number one, as the ball gets handled out, and the ball goes out of bounds in front of Bronson I believe that's Daniel Brown. So we'll have a ball in, SARS.
Yeah, interesting contest. Of course, the side from north of the border we'd be a lot less familiar with, probably no or very few results through the league with them this year. Austin, a known quantity, although Quebec certainly doesn't know them or familiar with them. So probably feeling each other out a little bit at the start here, and we'll see what sorts out.
This is Sam Gelati with the football, who played very well in the Transatlantic Cup. Who's been a fixture of one of the American fixtures of this team. Left-footed kick on the way. See if he can ride with the wind here, but a curly-cue around the goalpost. And there's the first score of the game. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard. It's 1-0 Austin.
Started the kick right. A lot of people have struggled with that today. He started at the left post, expecting the wind to help drag that across. He just was maybe a little too far left for that to come back.
Yeah, too much of a draw shot on that one. You talk about the Quebec Saints. There's a few names on this list who have played all over the place. You look at guys like Yassine Bausch, Ken Boudreau, who has played on the national team, Ronan Shaughnessy, who's played a while, Maureen White, who is in the Transatlantic Cup as well. They're a team that, you know, not a lot of teams, of course, they played New York. New York has played them already over the course of the season, and they usually play each other once a year. They played at the Montreal tournament. So it is, perhaps, however, to a team like Austin, who they occasionally play in D1, because Quebec does occasionally play up in D1. There is some familiarity, but not perhaps this season. As the ball drops in, how about Quebec getting an early opportunity? Nope, that one's going to cleared out by Mr. Christian Merritt as the ball goes up on the far side. Going to get Bob free. Going to get cleared out now by the Crows. Going to step up high in the air. Going to get knocked down. Here they come through the middle. Barr looking to the near side. Gelati has his head to his right. He gets cleaned up, but lost the football. Umpire says play on. Big tackle from the back, however, and it's going to be high contact and a free kick to the Saints.
Saints rebounding, a really good effort by this Austin Crows there, who were running in numbers very effectively, but rebounded here by the Saints.
Brent Wyborn will go out to the far side. Gonna hang on, hold on loose, and gonna send this one down the line. Ball goes up high in the air, over the shoulder mark taken. Ball gets handballed in the middle of the ground. That, I believe, is Rucksack number 13. Goes out to the far side. It'll drop in front. There's Stefan Barr. Barr, Black Sheep. Do you have any wool? Nope, it's going to be a handball back. Going to get sent this one down the line and out of bounds, and it is marked, but that person isn't playing. She's just sitting in a chair in the beer garden. He's just sitting in a chair in the beer garden, and that, unfortunately, is a free kick to the other team.
Yeah, you see the class actually of both sides here. A little bit of patience, waiting for stuff to develop. They obviously have tactics and game plans in place, but their intensity on the ball and the willingness to run at pace in numbers is that elevated, more mature, sophisticated level of football we'd expect in Division I.
Yeah, especially from a team that has won 5 in a row and 8 overall as the ball goes out of bounds. If they happen to do it, if the Crows happen to win this national championship, they will be the winningest team of all time. Right now, they are currently tied with the Denver men's team with 8 national championships. And for a team, and I know you were involved in the league back in the halcyon days of the Denver Bulldogs, it really has taken a special team to come along and do it with the consistency that the Crows have done it.
Well, yeah, you sit and think, gosh, nobody's ever going to win as many titles as Denver, but time marches on, and strong clubs compete every year, and they've got that hardware is in their sights. So.
This one is sent in, and it is marked, and defensively there, good job of picking that one out. There was Morgan White, as we mentioned. Morgan playing in the national team this summer for the Northwind, and of course, they had a very interesting tournament. Overall, they finished 1-4, but because of the quirk of the format, they ended up going to the semifinals where they lost to the U.S. This is Ryan Hitch who sends this one down the line. Might not be Hitch because he's not on there. He usually wears number 4 as the ball goes down and the ball tumbles out of bounds. But I think we have a free kick here.
Yeah, semifinals flattered the Canadian side a little bit, but as you said, the record on the day, I think they were 0-3 against the European sides to start the tournament, so they obviously got exposed a bit and probably not the result they were looking for.
Jawadi didn't start that one to the left. He kicked that one straight, but here is Rutsak out in front. That one is outside the foot, and that one has gone through. I believe that did just sneak inside the goalpost. Yes, sir, it does. That's their second. They go to 2 straight 12. No, I'm sorry. They go to 2-1. Well, hang on a second. It is a goal. And as we look at the scoreboard, you may know it is 117 is the score. And you may recognize a very tall and very familiar water boy for the Austin Crows.
Mobile hydration specialist over from the Collingwood Club. Brothers play here with the Austin side.
It's Mason Cox, in case you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, we were teasing that. Look, Quebec unlucky there. They were building out kick to kick. We're doing the right things, and just a skill error missed the mark here right in front of us and allowed Austin to rebound.
Yeah, notice, by the way, umpire Liam Dye is out there wearing there's Nolan Cox as he sends this one down the middle of the ground. Umpire Liam Dye is out there wearing the GoPro to get some content, which is great. Turning around once again is White off the left foot, and it's marked. 7-0 is the score. The Crows in the league, I said it was their second goal. It was only their first. But it's been very much a sort of a feeling out process, and it is a very odd situation. Austin, usually most of these teams have played their first games 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It's 2 p.m. The tournament this day is already half over, and Austin is playing their first games over the back. Good try for a spoil as he tries to get the ball to go forward. Long handball up over the top. Jawadi receives it nicely, has a bounce, looks for a second, now puts this one on. This one will come around on the breeze, and that one will go all the way through for a goal. That was a great goal by Sam Jawadi. He ran about 30 meters, and whereas before SARS, he was kind of kicking sort of willy-nilly against the wind, he read that absolutely perfectly. It rolled through with no interference. That's their second goal of the game. They go to 2-1-13, no score, Quebec.
Yeah, perfect kick. Really great execution by Austin there, and he's running up the left wing here, has a bounce because he has the space, and pace allows him to do that. And then his kick was perfect. He executed that beautifully. Started a little bit left, let that wing bring it across the face about 5 meters right through the middle.
And the wind it's been changing directions. We've been kind of keeping an eye on, I guess, the actual conditions. It's gone up to a sustained 10 miles an hour. The gusts, not as bad as they were, about the same as they were before, 17 miles an hour. So it's been a very intriguing set of situations, as there was the third is going to get this one. It's going to be stolen back the other way. I was just checking to see who that was.
Dragus on the spoil there for Austin, 11.
and another guy who was that was Trent McElroy who was in there. There's another guy, a one-time LA Dragon in Brian Dragus, but known mostly for winning a premiership with the Golden Gate Roos. That was the last time Austin didn't win a national championship, was in 2017, and they beat the LA Dragons that year. And they came awfully close to a repeat in Racine. They battled their way back. As this one is sent on the way, this one will drift across with the wind, but just behind the post. And through for another point, 2-2-14 Austin, no score.
Yeah, you see the difference. You see the difference right there in a right footer versus a left footer kicking from this pocket, and the wind tracking across the field the way it is. Harder for a right footer with their natural kicking action to keep that ball in. Giggs, on the other hand, as a left footer, had a lot more success with that ball drifting right where he needed it to into the goal.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think, is learning how to play these conditions, which are changing. As Carpenter Wanyanwu, who has been relatively quiet today, he gives the ball on the hard around, kicks this one in to the top of the square, flying out of nowhere, but there with the play up front, and that one is smacked through, and another goal to the Austin Crows. That's their third, and now they've started to push the gas pedal. They go to 3-2-20, no score for Quebec.
Yeah, you can see just in the energy and the bodies right now on the field, Austin running with a little more pep in their step. Quebec starting to hang their heads a little. And right there, Austin in numbers, they were able to clean up the crumbs and soccer it through.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, Austin, one of the things they're known for, one of the reasons they've had that success, they have such great game sense. And you can look at a lot of the Australians that they've had over the years. Grant Campbell is on this roster, and Anthony Seymour Butt is on this roster as well as Stefan Barr. The key is that it's the Americans who have the good game sense well, and that's what's helping them, what they've had the success for the last few years. There's a long kick up on the way. It is drifting across the face and going out of bounds. I believe it may have gone out of bounds on the full ahead of the man in Yusuf Abu Zaid.
So I'm trying to figure out, so paid kick I thought paid to Quebec, but why it wasn't paid downfield, I'm a little mystified, I guess, unless it was before the kick, but then the gentleman that had the ball in possession then doesn't, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Doesn't seem to be the one that's lining up for the kick right now.
Except after C. Let's see, as the ball comes to Jack Carey, spelled J-A-K. He will have the football. He will stand with his heels on the center square. He will have a right to left swirling wind, and he will kick the ball from about, let's call it 45 meters out when it's Sharon. Carey, buzz your mind, I walk the line. Goes forward, sends this one up on the way. Did he read the wind? No, he didn't. It's a behind. First point, however, for the Quebec Saints as they're on the Watch AFL scoreboard. The lead back to 19, Austin 3-2-20. Brian Barish here on Cooper's Field. Glad to have your company. Also glad to have Dan Sarbacker, who has done yeoman work in doing, what is this, your sixth game in a row, seventh game?
Oh, I don't know. We started at 8 a.m., so what does that make it? 4, 5,
yeah.
6, 7, seventh game now? But it's good fun. We get to watch a lot of football and talk about it.
And the other side of that is of course, your role as the USAFL International Program President. Manager, rather. I forgot the P.
Well, yeah, the titles are inconsequential and probably not right, so we're going to work on that amongst other things, but mostly a strategic role. We did a lot of work to be ready for nationals, got coaches reappointed, got camp settled, so that's all done. I get to do other stuff this weekend.
Like this, and I was going to say, the best part about it is you have a bird's eye view of some really good American talent, not only for the men, but also, of course, we'll have some women's matches up a little bit later, so it'll be interesting to see, how some players that come out. We already saw Jacob Johnson from Houston. As this one is sent on the way, did Austin add another goal? No, it's off to the right and through for behind. A little bit of a crowd building here as we go through the day. 3-3-21 to 1 behind, back to a 20-point lead. And if you've never been to a Nationals before, one of the things we've tried to do, what Dan and I have tried to do, is really kind of give you a sort of a picture of what it's like to be at this tournament. This is my 17th. I know you've been to.
Well, probably more
than that.
More than 20 at this point.
But the one thing is, we talk about the crowd, we talk about everybody else, and there's a couple of things here. One, tomorrow there's going to be everybody is going to be over on that opposite side watching all the final matches on this field. The other thing is, you and I have walked around. I know a lot of people. You got a chance to talk to a lot of people last night as this one is sent on the way. Austin's going to score more points here. It's going to be 6 more. And the Crows kick there for 4-3-27 on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 1 behind for Quebec as we move deep into this third term. I think we're at about 14 minutes gone. That's unofficial, of course. The one thing I've always said is that Nationals is like a family reunion. And I know it's two guys who have been around the league. And just getting to talk to a lot of the newer players. I mean, one thing that I try to do is, try to say hello to a lot of our new players, especially was talking to Courtney and Stephanie from Baton Rouge a little bit earlier about how they've loved the community, how they've loved their short time here at Nationals, and how really this has helped. It's amazing how supportive this community is. Especially we see it on the women's side, as that one is marked defensively by Quebec. So the Saints with the man in William Maloney will kick this one up on the left side. And it's marked.
Maloney's held up well against the onslaught. I think probably his second or third intercept marked at this point. He's distributed well. He's looked for those switches when they're available. He's doing 2 actually here. Tried out one side, trying out the other now. Kicks were good. A couple times his teammates have let him down with some dropped marks.
Aaron Stone, who had the football, saw it go through his hands, so we'll have a boundary throw in. Inside the 50-meter arc, we'll say it's about 40 meters around. As the umpire spins the ball back into play. Been a busy day for them, busy day for all of our umpires, and a shout out to them. As there is Barr, who puts that one on a line, and it's a nice mark. And he will turn around and send this one in, and it's marked again.
There again, we talked about it in the last game a bit, Brian, how lethal it can be to play on quickly. The defenses are stretched out. They're not in their structure they want to be in and maybe haven't located their opposition. And so finding someone open on a quick play on can be really detrimental.
I think this is Dan Brown, number 18. He sends this one across, and did that sneak through? It did, and it's another goal to Austin. 5-3-33 for the Austin Crows on the Watch AFL scoreboard. 1 behind for Quebec. As we move towards halftime, we'll tell you that just some of the other games that are coming up here on not only on Cooper's Field and on the stream over on Field 2, but also the other outer grounds here at Onion Creek Soccer Complex. As here on Field 2, it will be a Division II match between the Baltimore Dockers and Columbus Cats. Seattle will play Austin B on Division II in Field 2. That'll be on the stream. And as we have a mark, and they'll go back and try to add more to their lead. And just to finish the thought, it will be Chicago at Nashville and Denver and St. Louis. Those are D3 games, thank you. And then
3 and 4, I believe.
Yep, and then D5, yep, through Field 3 and Field 4. And then, Denver and St. Louis is a D4 game. And then North Carolina and Houston, which is a D5 game, that's Houston Reserves, is over on Field 5. We'll try and get you as many updates as we can. There's been, had some delay in getting the scores to you, but another goal has been scored by the Austin Crows. They get their 6. They go to 6-3-39. 1 point. Hey, you got Simon Highfield over there doing the scores. Yeah, he's the AFL International Development Manager. I love the fact that Simon comes over and he literally wears a ton of hats. And he's done so. He has really showed a lot. Of course, the USAFL, an official partner league, official development partner of the AFL, and that is why we had Simon's company over here, and he loves this tournament so much. And he and everybody else did such a great job of doing the Transatlantic Cup as well. We got to work with him pretty closely. Austin has the ball in defense. They're going to rectify that pretty quickly as they spray this ball out. Austin just looks quicker and faster. Here is a little 1-2 with Brian Dragus, who handballs it over to Gelati. Dragus wants the ball back. Gelati says no, have a bounce, and goes. Look at this is just amazing how they do this. They do this better than any other team in the USAFL in terms of running with numbers. They had 4 players around the ball at all times. They have transitioned the ball all the way down, and they're going to only get a point out of that. But that was really, really pretty from them, and it shows why they've won 5 championships in a row and 8 overall. Watch AFL scoreboard before we hear from Dan. They go to 6-4-40 to 1 behind, 39-point winning moments first half.
Yeah, kind of a wah-wah on the end of that one. That was highlight reel stuff for the season, working all the way out of the back. A little bit of a missed kick forced Dragus to pick that up instead of play on out of the air, but a series of give-and-go handballs involving Giggs on the wing, and they worked their way all the way up, just didn't slot the major like they probably should have.
Ball comes now out to the near side. Waiting, and now we'll chip this one up over the top, and it's marked, and back the other way, and now here, back the other way comes Gelati. Gelati will have and takes the mark. Play on quickly into the middle of the ground and finds the man in 36.
Saints really getting exposed at this point, just because of the pace with which Austin's playing, the fluidity that they're able to play with through the lines by those quick handballs or those play-ons from marks really has the Saints exposed and stretched out, and Austin's been good enough to find the holes in between and target them.
Kick is up on the way. Is it going to sneak in? It is. There's another one, and that is their 7th goal of the first half. They go to 7-4-46 to no score, and that is the final say of this first half. And my goodness, listen, Quebec is not, as you said, they've been exposed a little bit. They're still coming forth with good efforts in terms of, they're not making it easy, but Austin's Austin.
Yeah, Quebec's kicking actually has been quite good. Tactically, they're looking to switch the field when they can. They've let themselves down a couple times with dropped marks, and that's resulted in some rebound goals, so bad luck there. As we were talking about, one of the questions coming in, how would Austin perform with a 3 p.m. start? You're sitting around all day, you're getting antsy, you want to get going, you're playing in the heat of the day. Blessing or a curse? You didn't have to get out of bed early, but at the same time, you have to wait to play, and you're playing in the hottest part of the day. Well, the evidence is on the field. They've obviously excelled. They put 7 goals up on the board in the first half. So,
and they're going to have a challenge against New York. It appears, and we'll have to double check this. We have to double check that New York beat Quebec. If this holds up, New York is into the semifinals, and Austin would be as well. And it's just a matter of determining the matchups.
Yeah, Quebec on tired legs and starting to show.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this. That's probably one of the biggest disadvantage of this 16 format. We're going to step aside and come back with the second half of this one. Thanks to Gridiron Productions, you're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships from Austin, Texas, here on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Two Hands Hospitality, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match. Devil's Corner, Tasmania. HBC Event Services. Play Aussie. Premier Sports Medicine. And by the Movember Foundation.
Tell you that we are back here at the 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian here on Cooper's Field. Cooper's a sponsor of the USAFL since the year 2000. I'm not going up that high because this is my 6th game of the day, and the Austin Crows are well and truly in control over the Quebec Saints 46-1 at halftime. Brian Barish alongside Dan Sarbacker. Great to have you along. And we've got 3 more games here on Field 1 and 3 more hours to go here in this 28th renewal of the USAFL National Championships. And, you know, SARS, we've seen Austin play all season. When we saw them take out the Super Regionals, and they did it with, you know, in pretty straightforward fashion. It's like deja vu. We were talking about baseball announcers during the break. It's like deja vu all over again with Yogi Berra.
Yeah, clinical is one adjective I use to describe it. They've just been first rate, obviously a ton of class, and showing no less here at the start of the game.
All underway. The one thing Quebec does have going for them, well, I was going to say they have the wind. No, they're kicking against the wind in this one. So, yeah, we'll see what happens as this one is sent down the ground. Going back to get it is White, and that one over the head of a couple of players there. Maloney was in there for Le Centre de Quebec as the ball goes up on the far side now, and the ball is marked. Quebec women's team is here. They are paired with the North Texas Devils. Was talking to some of their players over the last couple of days. Caroline Leduc, Larissa Andrew-Sijan, a number of the players who are here, and should be. They are hoping to challenge Austin at the top of Women's Division II in that 5-team round robin. Ball goes in the middle of the ground. And it's going to be marked, and here they come, looking to add another one. Here's Grant Campbell. Really didn't see him in the first half. They may have been resting him, and he puts it through just to the right for a minor score. So the first score of the second half is an Austin behind. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, they go on to 7-5-47. 1 point for the Saints.
Yes, Brian, you talk about tournament format a lot, and this is a little unique in Division 1. Why don't you tell all the listeners at home how they're structured here?
So there's 2 groups of 3 teams each. We've got Austin with Quebec and New York here in Pool A. And then over in Pool B, you've got Denver, Golden Gate, and Sacramento. They'll play a round robin today. The top 2 teams in each group will advance to the semifinals. That's a nice mark. He's going to go and kick that one. Doink! It was the Wilbur post. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. And that's through. It's now 48-1. And so the 2 teams at the top of each group will meet in the semifinal tomorrow. The winners, of course, of the grand final. The 2 third-place teams will play in a consolation match. You know, you could say, well, you know, it's a meaningless game and whatnot, but look, that is the game that you're going to go out on. That's the a win in that particular game will send you off into the offseason on a high.
Yeah, a little bit different than the groups of 4. You win 2 games, you're obviously through the semis. You win 1 game, you're probably through. The only instance where you may not is going 1-1 and there's a 3-way tie.
I'm going to pause you right there. Grant Campbell has kicked a goal for Austin, and that's another one. They go to 8-6-54. Yeah, so it's a 53-point lead.
So a little less emphasis maybe on the score and the differential. Improbable that you'd have that 3-way tie in a 3-team, slightly more probable in a 4-team setup. So they, as you've asked multiple times today, when do you start resting people? When do you throttle back? Probably have a little bit better opportunity to do so here.
Well, and the thing is that second game, because I think we have to double check the result of the first game. I'm waiting to see, and of course, you know, we're waiting for the good folks at Tournament Central to update the standings. It looked like, if I had to guess, New York would have beaten Quebec. If that's the case, then that second game, you know, both teams, Austin and New York, will know that they are through to the semifinals. So what does the last game mean? Well, it means positioning, because if you finish in first, you know, whoever finishes in second, especially in the other group, is going to have to go through Austin if Austin were to finish first. As Grant Campbell takes the mark once again. Cambo, who has been around a long darn time, he centers the ball high in the air over the flying, outstretched hands of Ruksak, who is sitting on the grass, just kind of crisscross applesauce, wanting to know why a call wasn't made against him, even though he went up high and landed somewhat awkwardly. The mark is taken up on the far side, and Austin will have a chance to kick another one. And the other thing is, you talk about the 1-1-1 as we'll catch this kick from the Crows as this one is sent up on the way, and it is drifting across the face with the wind. 2 players in front there, and swinging around and kicking this one up on the way. It drifts across the face, marked in front. That's a goal. Good job of just outmaneuvering play. Now I think they're going to check. Hang on a second. I think that's going to, before we do that, I think a free kick has been awarded going the other way. Or was a free kick in front. We're waiting for the ball, I believe, to come back to, so no, it is no goal. And I didn't see what the call was there, SARS, but they come out to the near side. The mark is taken over the top from Wyborn to Maloney. You talk about the 3-way tie. That happened in Division 4 2 years ago. All 6 teams finished at 1-1.
Yeah, it's uncommon, but it can happen. You know, the timing, just a lot of factors play into this, and that's, again, the tournament structure. You got to play multiple games in a day, a full slate in the weekend. And so those sorts of things can happen when the teams are at parity.
Ball comes to ground once again, going to get picked up, moving around, and going to get spent on through now. Little spearing kick, going to get picked up by Gelati. Gelati with the football now. He'll have a run, he'll have a bounce. Will he have a second? Nope, he'll kick it on the left foot, sending this one in towards the sticks. Carpenter Wanyanwu got it. Chippy with a fantastic mark, and the man who's been all over the world playing footy. He played in Montrose in Victoria, also played with the Vietnam Swans, and who has been a fixture in that forward line. He's been, I would arguably say, he's probably been consistently one of the best players in their history. And Chippy leans back and puts that one off to the side. Well, as we can call that a commentator's curse, but when you're up by as many points as they are, it's now 7-55. They're up by 54 points.
Yeah, you have to do better than that, Brian. Put them on the cover of a magazine or something, then the curse will stick.
Exactly. Well, if there was a Madden for the AFL, then you'd have like the Madden curse. But
the stat he gets for that is a contested mark, but what you don't see in the intangible is that's a 1-on-2 mark. He backed himself into that. And was able to maintain concentration and juggle that and still come down with the ball as he's falling backwards. So just great athletic effort from Benny there.
And that's kind of how he plays the game. There's no there's really nothing beyond that. He just plays the game so well. As we hear the cheers from the game behind us between Denver and Sacramento, the Suns making their debut in Division I on the men's side, as I think Austin will have a ball up in front. Contest won by the Crows as the ball comes out, going to get picked up now. And we have a ball up. Now things, that's what the Saints are trying to really kind of hug the ball and hem the ball a bit.
Yeah, that'd be an effective tactic for them to make sure they're in range to make contests, tie the ball up as much as possible, and ferocity with their tackling will start to force Austin to make some mistakes, and then they can capitalize and rebound.
Was able to get away there from Phil Manasseh as the ball comes now. Manasseh is a veteran of the Quebec side, but he was able to get around. 3 bodies all went after the ball, and there was just behind the play. William Maloney, it looked like he did like a Allen Iverson, Teron Liu situation as Rucksack takes the mark. He'll have a shot for goal. It looked like he stepped over him, but I think it was just that he had tripped, and in fact he went and helped his Crow teammate up, or opponent up. So some good sportsmanship there, I believe, as this one is kicked by Rucksack, and that is, I believe it's gone through, and in fact it has. Another sausage roll for the Austin Crows. They go on to 9-7-63. No, wait, 9-7-61. I've forgotten my 6 times tables already. 60-point leads, a 10-goal lead. And while we have a moment, we want to thank, of course, our sponsors. We mentioned a lot of them. We have Tasmania, of course, Cooper's Beer, Visit Austin, the folks here, Aussie Sports USA, Qantas Airlines for the first time, which is fantastic. The Australian Consulate General in Houston, 3 Cuts Gin, Odin Mortgage and Tax, CyberSolve IQ. They are, of course, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL and the USAFL Foundation. Play on.
Really appreciate all our sponsors. I mentioned this in an earlier broadcast, but had the pleasure of meeting Chris Ruff last night, Managing Director of CyberSolve IQ, and just a great conversation because I got to hear why they think the USAFL is valuable and put their money behind this program, this tournament, and be involved with us. And that's wonderful to hear in the back, kind of behind the scenes stuff about why sponsorship is valuable to them.
Absolutely, and I got a chance to talk to him a little bit earlier, and yeah, it's great to have partners like those involved, and we've seen a lot of them over the last couple of years, and I think Tasmanian, really had opened up the door for so many others, and it's great. It's been so awesome to have them, and we've mentioned Cooper's, of course. Cooper's hosting the tournament, but one we also have to mention, Visit Austin. The 5th time we've been here, and they have been hospitable hosts to us. The Crows haven't really been hospitable hosts to their opponents. We say that. Now the question is, it was touched. That was a good defensive play there, and we'll see who got his hand to it. I think it actually would have been Mark Bang who got his hand to it as it went through. The umpire did signal that the ball was touched. He did confirm with the goal umpire. So he takes a goal away from I've forgotten his name already, from Grant Campbell. I was going to call him Stu Campbell, but that's a buddy of mine back in Philadelphia. So 9-8-62 to 1 point. as we roll on through here in Men's Division 1. We'll see the Crows again. They'll play New York in what should be a really thrilling contest, I think.
Yeah, it should be a ripper. As time winds down here, and I think the result is completely out of question. You ask the question, well, why does Austin win this game? How do they win by so much? And there's a lot of answers to that question, but when we look at the first half stats, handballs really stick out to me. 19-7 handballs, effective handballs 13 out of 19 handballs effective. Brian, we watched that sequence right in front of us on the near boundary. The multiple give and goes, and Giggs was critical in that sequence. Because they're stringing those handballs together, they are absolutely running teams ragged.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they're good at the one thing that they have over the other teams, even the teams that are on like the Denvers and the Golden Gates and everything else. They really, because they are so fluent and they are so quick with it, you need to be quick and you need to be quick reacting in order to do that. So that's the key is that they're so fast, and if you're not that fast, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, it's a combination of the speed, the quickness to stay with the opponents, and also the tactical awareness to understand, okay, the likelihood of the ball coming to these places, and how do we set up defenders in that sequence of Defender 1, Defender 2, Defender 3 layering around these contests. But man, Austin's just very slick, and we're seeing it right now, getting out of trouble with that handball until they get that open kick and lead.
Campbell with another mark, has Barr with him. He turns the ball inboard, and this one is, he said, I'm just going to fly it out of nowhere. Why not? Going to be picked up by, no, it wouldn't be Montgomery. He was 46. This one is handball back in. Barr, oof. That one has gone, or did it go through? Yeah, it did. I thought for a second it went across the face, but it just snuck inside and by those people who are very smart and just watching this tournament underneath the shade of that tree. That is goal number, well, let's see. I think the scoreboard may have given that as a behind. I believe, we'll double check. It was 62-1. Is that correct? It should be 60, or no, they have 10-9, 69 to 1 point. So it is 69 to 1. Does that count as number 3 in the Bearish drinking game?
Yeah, for all you listening at home, playing Blooper Bearish or Blue Bearish, have a sip. Time to crack your third beer. And you have your feet up on the lawn chair.
Hopefully it's a Cooper's, right?
Listening to or muddling through our broadcast.
As there is Campbell once again. They're just, it is what it is. I mean, they're just really asserting their dominance here. And look, I mean, yeah, you do want to put the cue in the rack. At some point, you are going to want to put the cue in the rack and save up for what is going to be a very tough game against New York. But you also have to take what the opponent gives you. As Campbell starts this one right, but it does not curve around through for another behind. Watch AFL scoreboard. It's 10-10-70, 10-10, big buddy, and it's one behind. So 69 points the difference.
Grant's kick there. One thing people don't account for is how much the wind affects your drop. And most poor kicks are actually a result of the ball coming out of your hand improperly. And wind can affect that. If there's any slight variation in the verticality of that ball as you drop it, it can tip that ball, and when you strike it with your foot, that thing comes out sideways, flying like a lame duck, all different sorts of shapes other than end over end like you'd like it.
And that's the key behind a drop kick, SARS, is the ball has to be straight down, and you can compensate for that as much as you can by dropping the ball as lower to the ground. Now, mind you, you can only do that so much before you look like some sort of weird, hieroglyphic. But by the same token, it negates that. As this one curls around, I think that's going to be the same as the last kick. It's through for another behind. So now they're just tacking them on. 10-11-71. It's out to 70 points over Quebec. As Austin, and again, we are just now starting to get some updates across some of the divisions. And we're just waiting again to figure out. Like I said, we believe that Quebec would have lost that first game to New York. If that's the case, then both the Magpies and the Crows, even though they'll play each other to fill out group play, will know that they will be on to the semifinal.
21 scoring chances in total for Austin, and any way you slice it, whether you kick straight or not, or split them 50-50, like that's going to be a massive score in a 20-minute, 2-half game.
Yeah, I mean,
40 minutes in total.
I mean, to be honest, all they needed was 2 scoring shots, and that would have been enough to give them the victory. They've just added on an additional 19.
Yeah, they've really yielded or relented absolutely nothing to Quebec, and Quebec certainly not for effort, but just have been outclassed.
Ball goes down, and we will have a free kick going the way of the Saints, who have fought valiantly in spite of the monumental task they had before them, as this one drifts out over the head of Manasseh. Mark Austin will come back the other way. You can see Manasseh telling his players to stay on him a little bit more as this one is sent in. Marked in front again. I'm going to guess now that I know who that is, it's Harry O'Sullivan. But it's going to be from dead in front. So 70 points the difference now, and Austin just trying to tighten the screws a little bit more as O'Sullivan will go back. And of course, we'll tell you some of the games that we have coming up here on the stream as that one is put through. And another goal, 11th of the game for the Austin Crows, 11-11-77. Lord Nelson, Quebec 1 point. There's not much else you can say about that.
Well, no, I mean, it's been a dominating performance by Austin. You see up and down the ground, the execution's been almost flawless, but I'm not going to say perfect. If they're under more pressure, I've seen some kicks that didn't go the way they wanted to. Some handballs and stuff, not picking up the ball cleanly, so it's not like they're invincible, Brian. And you keep alluding to the New York contest coming up, which could be an absolute ripper. They'll want to be clean. They'll want to be cleaner than this, although there's not an enormous amount of room for improvement.
Right. And it sounds like the Denver Bulldogs have won behind us, defeating the Sacramento Sun. So Denver might be like they're in the driver's seat to make the semifinals alongside Golden Gate. That game is coming up. Here is Christian Merritt, who puts this one on. Got deflected, hit the ground, won't matter. Ball will be centered in, and then going and turning around with it, going to pick that one up, straightening himself out, and kicking that one off to the side and through for another score. 11-12-78 Austin. It's up to a 77-point lead. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Watch AFL. You can watch all the matches from across the AFLW and the AFL with your choice of either a weekly, monthly, or a yearly subscription. WatchAFL.com. As the ball gets tied up high, and once again, those are every time a bell rings, a forward gets his wings.
A few flying. Yeah, there's the tease of the ice cream truck going past us again. For anyone that can hear the bells on the broadcast,
the bells of St. Austin. As we get set for a kick-in from the back line, and the wind is picking up a little bit more, and officially still, it says 10 miles an hour, and that's about what it's supposed to top out at, but the gusts are still at 17. So the wind is, we said that the avalanche might be coming with the wind here, and there's another mark, and Campbell will add another one because why not? That is the 12th goal for the Austin Crows. They go to 12-12-84, and they have kept the scoreboard operator very busy. 12-12-84 to one behind. Cannot be much time left, and perhaps that final siren cannot come soon enough for the Quebec Saints.
Yeah, valiant effort. We talked about it earlier. Skill execution was great, but just outclassed by the Austin handball running and the effort.
Jason Becker's going to see if he can grab us somebody for an interview, and it's comprehensive. I mean, this is what it is. I mean, and I think this I don't think was going to be the test. I think Quebec has never backed down from any challenge, especially up in Division I. They have a couple of Division II championships under their belt. This was always going to be very difficult, and it's plainly there on the scoreboard. Austin, they're going to play New York coming up, and then they're going to play either Denver or Golden Gate. They're two teams. Denver's had their number. They haven't had it this season. But Golden Gate, I think this is the best team that Golden Gate has had, perhaps since their final in 2017. So it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be getting a little bit better.
Yeah, you use the words comprehensive, and I think that's a great adjective. What we just saw today, and ultimately 24 scoring chances. That means that the production throughout the ground, what they're doing up and down the field, they're moving the ball extremely quickly. And so some of the keys to that, we watched Giggs here on the near side wing get involved in some handball give and goes on multiple occasions, racking up those possessions, running in numbers. That was a big key for them. You don't put up 24 scoring chances, Brian, without that kind of production through the back and middle part of the ground. Shows up on the scoreboard, of course, but a big key here. Giggs here just joined us to have a chat with Brian.
And our Tasmanian player of the game is Sam Gelati. Did I get it right this time?
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
I blame somebody else. Somebody else said it was something else. But anyway, congratulations on the first victory. You've had a pretty good summer. We'll talk about this game first. You know, Quebec, I think there was always going to be a little bit of a difference, but it looked like, especially in the very beginning, they were making you earn every possession.
Yeah, we've always come out, and they've, credit to them, they've always come out and played us real scrappy. I think the first time I played them was in Sarasota a couple years ago, and you know, they always tend to take us a little bit by surprise. Very scrappy game, so credit to them. Yeah, for sure.
They're always a little bit of an enigma, but this year, of course, when you got a chance to go and play at the Transatlantic Cup up in Toronto, some of their guys like Morgan and there was a couple of other ones in there that played, and Kenneth Boudreau has played previously. So they're not a complete mystery. You know some of their guys, but by and large, they do play a very Canadian style.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some familiar faces I've seen over the years. Yeah, they've always, especially even the Canada game, they always come out real scrappy. They've got some good Canadian pride in them, so they always give us a real good fight.
Now, we'll talk about very quickly, talk about your experience this summer playing for the Revolution.
It was great. It was great. It was a nice 10 days from work. It was wonderful representing our country, and I really enjoyed doing it, you know, making a lot of new friends, and also, you know, going up there with one of my best friends, Michael Linehan, Sharky. I've known him for like 20 years, so we had a really, really good time.
How's he doing, by the way?
He's probably one of the smallest but toughest dudes on our team. So, you know, we check in on him every other day. I think he's got on some kind of motion machine that keeps his leg moving. But I think this is his third knee surgery on that knee. Yeah. So I think they were putting spare parts together at this point.
He's, I was going to say, you could put them together like a Connects or something like that. Giggs, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the tournament. Good luck. You got New York coming up. But I know you'll be ready for them. I mean, it looks like you're going to be on to the semifinals, but I know you always won't back down against the Magpies.
Yeah, one game at a time for us. We always have that mentality, so yeah, we'll be looking forward to playing New York.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thank you for joining us, Giggs. Really
it.
Appreciate it. Final score, once again, the Austin Crows victors over the Quebec Saints. The final score, they've taken it down off the scoreboard, but I believe it was 83-1 was the final score. Coming up next here on Cooper's Field, we've got a Division II matchup between the Baltimore Dockers and the Columbus the Columbus Cats. That was psych, as we'll have Jason Becker making his USAFL commentary debut, joining Dan Sarbacker. When we return, you're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian here on USAFL.com. Thanks to Gridiron Productions.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Qantas Airlines, the spirit of Australia. The Australian Consulate General, Houston. Three Cuts Gin. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. And by USAFL Foundation. Play on.